The next module we're going to show when someone's on a website is live chat. Everyone's probably very familiar with what live chat is on a website, and I want to talk to you just briefly about the power of live chat. So different studies have come out, but businesses that have a live chat on their website, that typically represents anywhere from 10 to 15% of all engagement is going to go through a live chat. Just to put that in context, that means 15 out of 100 people are going to live chat you with questions. And similar to the concept I was saying about a contact form, and someone's taking the time to fill out a contact form, same idea. Someone's taking the time to go through on the live chat and ask their questions. So it may not be as warm necessarily as a contact form, but it is still a quantifiable lead or an opportunity reaching out to you for some expert help to understand your service or product better. And ultimately that can mean or turn into a sale. So I highly encourage businesses to consider turning on a live chat if they don't have one. And I do get the excuse a lot of times we don't have the manpower, the bandwidth behind the scenes to manage a live chat. And so we kind of took that feedback over a decade and built a live chat that's robust, but also works for the business, works for the customer. So works for the customer because it's mobile friendly, works on all devices, but works for the business in the sense that you can have multiple people managing that chat all at once, all harmoniously as they do their normal 9-to-5 job, and not have to kind of be behind a screen managing it or off hours and different things like that. But it works for the business, so you're not having to just make that a sole responsibility of someone or pay someone full-time to do that responsibility. So I'm going to our website, and what you'll notice is in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see our live chat show up, and it says questions about something, let's chat. And so I have a little X here. As a customer, I can minimize it. And you also see we have a call us button, and I talked about that a couple conversions back. That's our call us button that will actually click and it will fire up the phone call. I am on my PC, and I wouldn't recommend turning on a call us button on the PC, but as I talked about, you could probably turn on a hot link if you want, or whatever text you'd like. So going back to the chat, this is a sticky closure, so what that means is if I go to a different page, since I minimized it, it will still be minimized. If I open it, it's going to open up. And so let me show you, for instance, what this live chat looks like. So if I go back, let me show one thing before we turn it on, because some of the settings are important. So first of all, you can turn the chat off. It's not required. You don't have to have it. Secondly, you're going to pick your time zone. Why is time zone relevant? Because it's relevant when you're starting to choose your hours of operation for the chat. Another thing you can do is kind of set parameters. So if you're US only, you can say I only want to show the chat for US countries. Or let's just say, specifically you're not allowed to do business in Canada. You can say hide just Canada, and this will hide Canada as the only country that doesn't see the chat. It's easier. It depends on if you do anti-country or pro-country in terms of what you're trying to distill your traffic to. And that might be because you don't want to deal with someone from Germany or France trying to communicate in a bilingual format that you can't answer the question. Or maybe you can't ship your goods out to outside the country, and so you don't want to engage with anyone outside. So in our example, let's just do US, and we're going to show only from US, and that just means that only the United States is going to be available as a country that sees our chat. And if you don't save anything in here, the chat's available to everyone. A little branding, so you'll notice a color, background color, and font color. If I go back to the chat, you're going to see the background colors, and you're going to see the font color of green. You're also going to see a default message. So it says, let's chat about something, or question about something, let's chat. You're going to see that right here. It's HTML. So if you want to put a different default message, you can change that up. And the offline URL is going to be available if it falls outside of the hours. So if you'll notice, all the hours that we put in our example are going to be 12 to 12 in terms of PM, so we're always available all days. But if we rolled this back and said it's not available at 4 o'clock PM and it happens to be 4:01 PM, it's going to use the offline URL. So you might put your offline URL to be something like this, example.com/contact. And now what's going to happen is this is going to be very, very, very small, and it's going to say, sorry, we appear to be offline. Please leave your information and contact us here. You'll click, and it's going to take us to the contact page. So that would be your offline URL. You may not want to direct it to your site. You may want to direct it to a call center. You may want to direct it to a third-party website for support or for tickets. So you can put whatever URL you would like to that makes sense when you're offline. And so the next thing I would like to do is show you an example of what a chat looks like. So I can either press send or I can press enter. I just press enter on my keyboard. A handful of seconds later, it's going to say guest, who's me, the date and time, and my message of hello. I'm going to go back to here. Now magically in the chat manager, you're going to see guest saying hello. You're also going to see, as the owner of the website, a flashing green button. Green button means that it is my turn to engage. The guest put the last message in, and so we're waiting for a response. You're also going to notice you get some information. So the first time that the chat was initiated, what the time zone is, what the IP is, and where generally a location of that person was on the chat. You also notice a view visitor button, and so I'll get into this a little bit later, but I can actually click that link and view everything about that customer. And so without going into too much detail and kind of spilling the beans of what's to come in the next couple modules, you can actually determine that you're talking to New Citrus Technologies. That's our phone number, that's our website, this is our address, these are our potential annual revenue, monthly revenue, different things like that, and you really know who you're talking to and what page they're looking at on the website. And why that's important now too is because now you understand it's like this. If you go into a dinner and you already pre-know who you're talking to and what they believe and what they do, you've already set the tone for the business, and you can artfully craft a conversation relative to the customer you're talking to and make that much better of a pitch or presentation. That's the idea. If you know who the customer is before you go into the conversation, you're just a lot more prepared and you're able to make a better conversion. And so I can go back and say hello back, and I will do, and I'll press enter, and you're going to see support say hello back, and actually we just caught it at the tail end, so it also said sorry for the delay, please provide your email. And so that's important also to see that, because what happened is I didn't respond quick enough to the message here, and so it will automatically, after 4 minutes, send a message back to the customer on the website saying, sorry for the delay, can you please provide us basically contact details so we can reach back out to you. And basically we want to keep the client on the hook if in the unlikely event you're not able to chat with that customer within those 4 minutes. But I did say hello back, and you are going to see that message at the very top, hello back. So you are going to see new message flashing on the front end of the website. So the customer is going to know that there is a new message awaiting them. And you're also going to notice on the back end, the button is no longer green because we're waiting for that customer to respond. So if I go back and say, hi, press enter, the new message window is not going to show anymore. The chat's still going to be here. And now we go back to this, and now it's going to be flashing green because it's now our turn to engage. This will turn yellow after 5 minutes of inactivity, basically meaning that the conversation has gone stagnant and they got that message that says sorry for the delay, the customer has not engaged back, and at that point the chat potentially has gone stale, but at least you have potentially some chat of dialogue and some reference to who that customer was. The last thing I'd like to do is talk about the live chat. Is although this is well and great, and I just talked about the manageability of a chat, this is not practical unless you have a full-time marketing customer service agent behind this desk looking at the chat. So realistically, most businesses don't use this interface. They actually use their phone, their email. And so what you can do, as the example is, you can put a phone number or an email down here, you press update, and this message actually gets sent to that phone or those phones or those email, right to their email, right as a text message, and you as a business owner or as a sales manager who's in and out of meetings all day can actually manage the chat completely from your phone on the go, and you can type to multiple people too, so it becomes multi-agent. Why is that important? So if I'm in a meeting, someone else can get that text message and they can start engaging real time on the fly with that customer on the website. What that also allows for is if you have a customer service agent that's talking about a particular product or service, and maybe the knowledge that that support agent has doesn't go into more of the technical details of what's involved or what's needed, they can very easily contact someone else on that phone, on the chat email, and message an expert who can at the same time jump into that same conversation, pick up the message, and start messaging back the customer. And the customer is going to believe it's the same agent speaking with that level of expertise. So the handoff between multiple agents in the chat via mobile interface, via text or via email, can be completely seamless to the front end customer and be handed off seamlessly as the business is going about its 9 to 5 every day, with multiple people doing multiple responsibilities and multiple people having different knowledge sets for different product lines and different services. So that's what sets our chat apart. It's multiple agent, it's real time on the go, delivered as text or email messaging. You're more than welcome to come inside here and chat inside the chat manager, but it is much easier to tie a cell phone number right into the system and just be out and about and get text message alerts when a new chat is created. You click the button inside your text message, it auto logs you in, and you're messaging back and forth on the go on your phone and handing it off to multiple reps as needed. So that's what chat does, and chat gets fully archived. So if you ever want to go back historically and take a look at, I won't run a search, but let's just say we want to pick, this month, and we want to go back and we want to find a conversation that was spoken and they were talking about a $50,000 line item, we could go back and we could find that conversation specifically relating to that specific term and go through that conversation dialogue and try to dig up the opportunity. So any chat that gets run through the system gets archived and gets indexed, and we can search that historically over a long periods of time, or any time that you need to go back in history and review a particular opportunity.